Hello, friends. How are we doing today? Well, I'm going to be sharing a little experience I had recently while I was working in a particular hospital. I'm sharing this because one thing very important is while you pursue your greatness, in order to manifest yourself, you're going to have obstacles. You're going to have people who would think it's their responsibility to stop you from achieving your greatness. Sometimes they may not really do it intentionally, but somehow that's exactly what they are doing. I was working in this hospital in a female psychiatric acute ward for the first time in this position. I've worked there before in a lesser position some years ago. I got to this place and the nurse who was in charge handed me the key to be in charge of medication. And there's a schedule, there's a way medications are given out to patients on the ward. Usually it's within 1 hour before, 1 hour after. Then we had this patient who came in about 3 hours after the time the medication was scheduled for. And I said to her, I'm sorry, I would not be able to administer you this medication at this time. And then she burst into tears and started crying. Oh, I want my medication. I said, right, okay, wait, do not cry. Let me speak to the on-call doctor. So which I initiated a phone call to the on-call doctor. So right, this lady now, this is not her real name, I'll call her Alicia. I said Alicia has just returned back from her session 70 leave, and she's on so medication that she's asking to administer them to her at this time. Is it possible you could prescribe this medication for her at this time? This doctor, who happens to be a junior doctor as well, was unable to make the decision. So she had to call a senior doctor who advised that yes, some of those medications could be prescribed, but there were certain ones that she could not use because of the time to when she was due the next medication. So she phoned me back to say, right, she's able to have this, So I went to the clinic, tried to administer this medication, the tablet in the clinic, the computer would accept my PIN, my password. So I was unable to actually check the actual medication that she needed, the dosage she was prescribed at that very period of time. So I picked the medications pack and then came to the nursing office. So I got to the nursing office, I spoke to the nurse who is a regular staff there. I said, right, look at this. Please, can you go on the EPMA, which is the electronics, what's it called? Prescribing medication administration. I just checked the dosage this patient is on for me at this time, and then she checked for me. And lest I get this wrong, while I was trying to clarify the dose she was due, this patient was actually telling me, oh, I'm on 15 milligram of so medication. I said, okay, I'm not doubting you. Let me just confirm. So this lady confirmed this medication for me and told me she was only on 5 milligram of a specific medication. So I popped this medication out in the nursing office with other nurses and so many other people there, other support staff. And then I gave them to this lady. She, in an attempt to take the medication, she actually dropped the tablet on the floor, which she picked up, just one. And then I said, "Oh, are you sure you still want to have that? I can give you, just throw that in the bin, I'll give you." She said, "No, no, no, I'll have it." She had this medication and then retired to her bedroom. She came out just 5 minutes after. I started crying. She said, "I gave her overdosed of that same medication." All right. I said, "Okay. How many were you giving?" She said, "Oh, you gave me 15 milligrams." I said, "Well, I'm sorry. I actually gave you 5 milligrams because that is what you were prescribed." She wouldn't have it. I said, "Well, this other nurse was in this place. She actually checked your dosage for me on the system." You know, you know what? You know the part I really want you to get in this story. This nurse immediately took herself out of this equation. She said, "Well, I only checked the dose for you. I didn't see how much you actually gave to her." This was shocking. You see, but I knew I only gave her the prescribed dose that she told me. She knew very well I was a registered nurse who, who was competent enough to administer medication. If she told me a patient was on 5 milligram of medication, why would I give something higher to the patient? You see, so but that did really, I felt shocked. But then I realized, I said, okay, she's up to something. So we carried on. Before you knew what, this patient went to her bedroom, came out and said, "Oh, she just drank a half bottle of washing up liquid." All right, okay, we're going somewhere. I said to her, "Okay, sit down." Took her physical observation. I said, I need to speak to the doctor to come and review you then." Before you knew what, she went to her bedroom, came out, said, "Oh, she just drank some." She actually came out with a mouthwash, and she pretended like she was actually drinking there. This were all in the course of her acting this drama. Now, the idea of even claiming that I gave her overdose, was no longer was no longer interesting. We were not dealing with a more serious problem. So what am I saying? You see, you've got to know yourself. You have to be very, very conscious that there are people who sometimes will just put themselves in a position to be, you know what? They want to stop you. See, there are people who think that the world is all about between the black and the white. It's between men and women. No. We are all here. We all have a mission. We have a goal. We all have a race. You see, so the fact that I'm prospering, the fact that I'm having so much going on in my life doesn't mean it's going to affect you from having so much in your life. You have your dream, you have your life that you have to manifest. So you've got to be conscious of these things everywhere you go. Know that there will be people who will make themselves, they think it's their responsibility to stop your dream. So know yourself very well, and in everything you do, you know what? Be diligent. And then, like I always say, always pray. And you will just be a success in achieving your goals. Right. That's my short story. I hope that was a little bit, helpful to just give a little light into how you need to manifest yourself, how you need to be able to protect yourself in whatever you do, in what capacity. Don't you ever leave yourself loose. There are people who think their assignment is to stop your dream. Never let anybody stop your dream. There is greatness within you, right? Go on and manifest yourself. Have a good evening. Thank you.